Hi, my name is Wendy, and in this lightning talk I will speak about the indigenous people of the Amazon and how their plight evidences the need for empathic governance in the fight against climate change. The Yanomami people are the largest relatively isolated tribe of South America. Their territory spans 9.6 million hectares in the mountains and tropical forests of Brazil and Venezuela. They live in community, with strong connections to each other and to the nature that surrounds them, where they consider every rock, tree, and creature to have a spirit and be worthy of respect. Due to their immense botanical knowledge, most of their diet comes from crops, but hunting and gathering are traditions of great pride. Feasts and games are used to celebrate the gifts of nature and culture. The invasion of the Yanomami territory started in the 40s, worsened in the 70s, and continues till this day. Currently, in its most dire situation yet, the environmentally destructive criminal activities that affect the well-being of this indigenous community are also linked to the climate crisis. For the last 4 years, this crisis has greatly deepened, largely due to illegal mining and logging activities that invade Yanomami territory. Mercury, a byproduct of illegal gold mining, contaminates local rivers, poisons fish, drinking water, and the land used for planting and gathering. Poor practices inherent to illegal activity create accumulated pools of water, forming breeding grounds for mosquitoes and the spread of infecto-contagious disease. On top of that, miners have violent demeanor and, in addition to generally abusing indigenous people, have been reported to steal medicine, government funds, and even physically destroy health support infrastructure that helped manage hunger, disease, and distress caused by these destructive operations. The compounding effects of these many issues are visible within the indigenous community especially. Being truly one with nature, they are thus disproportionately affected by the destruction of their surroundings. This is evident by rates of child mortality being 13 times higher in the Yanomami population than the Brazilian national average. If these are protected people living in protected territory, how has this situation worsened so much over the past years? The answer lies in intentional oversight from governance. Through this systems map, you can see how lack of oversight aids and abets the criminal activities of the illegal mining industry, deepening the crisis. Funds meant to improve health and conditions for the Yanomami are redirected to perpetuate illegal mining and logging operations, root of the major issues we explored. Since governance focus is on the short-term economic boost provided by exporting illegally extracted materials, multiple requests for aid were ignored, resulting in multifaceted negative impacts. At the local level, hunger, disease, increased violence, mental distress, and the destruction of the ecosystem they depend on. And at a global scale, habitat destruction, diminishing forest cover and its ability to sink carbon back into the ground, feeds the worsening of the climate change. Through the loss of this biodiversity, we see a decrease in ecosystem resilience and interruption of the self-sustaining renewal of biosphere cycles, such as clean water and air. Unfortunately, when systems of governance operate with profit as their ultimate goal, there is little regard for the inherent value of life and nature. Because of that, we see the small cycle of short-term profit being very well fed by the abuse and destruction of nature, which in turn worsens the effects of climate change. A profit-oriented system of governance neglects this complex and global issue since its priorities are rooted in short-term economic growth and not well-being, development, or long-term sustainability. But there is a better way. On January of 2023, the start of a new Brazilian government meant the reopening of investigations into the Yanomami crisis, results of which I attempted to summarize in this lightning talk. Due to blocks implemented by the previous government, data and reports were incomplete or hidden. Only now have we discovered the extent of the neglect the Yanomami people have suffered these past years. Luckily, the new government has different values and already implemented multiple committees and ministries that give the Yanomami sovereignty over their land and voices within federal government. From opening a brand new ministry for indigenous peoples to triggering emergential federal support to address the health, hunger, environmental damage, and criminal activities in the Amazon, steps are being taken to improve this crisis. But the damage is deep, complex, and further exacerbated by an intensifying climate crisis. Ultimately, we must change how we view the value of nature. empathic and science-informed governance are needed to combat policies of abuse and neglect that focus on short-term economic profit. Policies rooted in development and care need to be continuously evaluated and enforced to not welcome the exploitative practice of profit that led to the dire situation of the Yanomami people now. Thank you for your attention.